What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 video. When we left off, we got to this bonfire, which is about the halfway point for the High Wall of Lothric. So if you drop down here, there are a couple enemies you can kill for some easy souls. And in here, this guy does turn into a consumed beast, so if you don't want to fight the beast right away, kill that guy right away, so he won't turn into that. Some fire bombs. There are some enemies here for some free souls. There's a crystal lizard. So if you kill that, you will get a raw gem, which you can infuse to your weapon later in the game. And then if you come down here, you can get some black fire bombs. But if you do happen to make it on top of that roof, there is some more item, or there is another item that you can grab. Another broken straight sword. Okay, so once you jump up here, you can come and grab the fleshbite ring. It's a very good ring. It has resistance to bleeding, poison, frostbite. Basically a mix of all the resistance rings. Over here you can grab some bolts, some fire bombs. But before we go down there to progress to the next part, in here, if you take a left, there are some enemies in here. Go ahead and kill them. There's an archer up here, so look out for that. And here, there's another thief. So just circle behind it, or in front of it. And get a backstab on it. Titanite shard. And sometimes there are messages that are lies, like this says there is an illusory wall, when there clearly isn't. So you can always check, but they won't always be true. Although most will. You can grab some undead hunter charms, which you can use on mimics to make them fall asleep, and you can steal the items in their mouth. Instead of actually fighting them, you can just make them fall asleep. So if you don't want to fight that mimic, you can come over here, grab those charms, and then come back for that. Circle behind it, you can get a backstab. And then once you kill him, you can grab that soul. I recommend you do kill him and not just run past him, because otherwise he will just follow you and it's really annoying. And then watch out on the left side, because this guy will try to hit you. Just go behind him, do a backstab. Come in here, you can get a broadsword, which is good if you're deprived, because then you can actually have a decent weapon. But if you smash through this debris, come over here. You can come over here and grab a green blossom, which raises your stamina for a short amount of time. There's a chest here. You can open that and get a straight sword. Then there are a lot of enemies down here, so I recommend just doing a plunging attack on one of them. It does get kind of hectic with 3 enemies, but most of them are already dead. Okay, so we just got cornered. That happens. So if you do happen to die, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can just easily run back over there. And you will die a lot in this game. Guaranteed. So if you die, it's not the end of the world. But you do want to fight this knight again, seeing as he'll be annoying if you don't. You can get an easy backstab on him. Okay, but you get through him. Watch out for the guy on your left. And then instead of going the other way, I found it easier to kill these guys if you go this way. But there is a thief there. There's a chest here, which is where you get Silver Kite Eagle Shield. It's a very good shield in the beginning of the game because it is a 100% physical shield, which means that it will, if you block with it and you get hit, it'll take stamina away instead of health. So that can be very useful. But then if you come over here and you wait, eventually some of the enemies will be close enough where you can lock onto them and throw throwing knives at them, so you can fight one at a time. It really doesn't matter which way you come from, but I just find it easier to go from this side. But you do want to go on both sides to get all the items. But if you do throw throwing knives, then you can lure certain enemies out. So that way you won't have to fight all of them at the same time, which makes things a lot easier. Yeah, I highly recommend you do this strategy instead of trying to fight all 6 of them at the same time, because then you will die like I did just before. And dying's not fun because then you have to come back and go through everything again. But if you do lose souls, it's not the end of the world. It's not the greatest thing to happen in this game. You can always farm more souls later. But it helps not to die as much, because then you won't have to farm later. But if you come over here by this anvil, you can get an Estus shard, which increases the amount of flasks you have. But seeing as I already have the maximum, doesn't really matter. here's where you get the cell key. This is where you can go back and you can go free Grey Rat the Thief. So after you get that key, you can go back, free him, send him to the shrine, and then he goes and steals from people in certain areas where you go fight, and then he will bring them back to sell to you. So yeah, if you come through here, it's worth your time because you do get an Estus shard and the cell key. There's also a free Titanite shard. You get the Astora Greatsword, Broadsword. So yeah, it's pretty worthwhile going through there. I do like this weapon particularly because when you attack with it, there's a thing called hyper armor where as you're swinging, if you get hit, normally you would stop swinging and you would just fall backwards. With hyper armor, as you're swinging, if you get hit, you will still swing. So it's hyper armor is essentially like a way for saying like you're like berserker. Because a berserker will just run into battle, take hits, and still deal damage. Okay, so if you come down here, you have to fight Big Blue. He is normally very tough to fight, so if you want to just run past him, I honestly won't blame you. But if you do fight him, it is rewarding. It's really easy to get backstabs on him, but sometimes you can get his halberd, which is actually really good. I would say it's about as good as Gundir's halberd. Maybe not as good, but it's a very good weapon to farm if you're looking for a very good weapon right away in the game. Come over there, you can get the rapier, which is a stabbing weapon like the S-stock. And then if you run down there, well, we'll go check that out in a little bit, but if you come over here, there's an archer. Just kill him first. Then if you come up here, you can get a large soul. Come over here, run and jump over to here. You can get a ring of sacrifice. There is a lot of jumping in this game to get certain items, which isn't my strong suit, but it's not too difficult either. There are a couple enemies up here, so just watch out for that. There's a lot of enemies actually. Anyways, you just want to kill them. Come over here. Go on the lift. And grab some more throwing knives. Open this door. Come through here. Kill these guys. You can grab a soul, which you can exchange for souls, which then you can then use to level up. There are a couple dogs over here, which I find dogs very annoying, but they are very weak, so they only take a couple hits to kill. There are some harder enemies over here, but that's only because this is a shortcut. is an archer up here, so just watch out for that. You can come over here, and you can kill the archer. And this will lead back to the first bonfire. There is a consumed beast up here, so watch out for that. They are pretty hard to kill. So I just recommend killing them as fast as possible so they won't transform. You can kill them, and there's a chance they can give you embers, but it's not really worth it, seeing as later in the game you can just buy embers. Deal with that guy right away. He won't transform. If you come over here, you can grab a longbow with some arrows. And that you'll need to get before you can actually get the dragon to leave, because you'll need a bow. So you'll have to grab that and then go back to annoy the dragon. Yeah, that's how you get the longbow and the shortcut. So if you go from the first bonfire, and then you kill the enemies, come down through here, you can go down the lift. And then you end up back here. So if you grab that, you can get another green blossom. Now when you die or rest of that bonfire, the enemies will respawn. So it's kind of important to know. Grab another soul there. Now here there are 4 knights here in total, and they can be very hard. Yeah, if you just make sure that you only have to fight one enemy at a time, it makes it a lot easier. This also makes life easier if you do get backstabs. Over here there is a red-eyed knight. He's very tough to kill. So again, if you're like just starting the game, it's not the best idea to fight him right away. But you can kill him and get a gem. So it's always worth getting gems. But there's nothing really particular up here, so... There's another knight here that you can kill. Again, it's really easy to get backstabs. It helps a lot. Here you can get the Lothric, which is another halberd. It's not as good as Gundur's, but you can't get Gundur's till like the end of the game. Some enemies here. In here is the boss room. But before we do that, we are going to come over here. And we are going to join the covenant of this area.
Allow me to speak. You will not find they have left to their journey head to the forge on. Unkid goeth but be the vile. Unkid goeth but beware the vile watchdog. Unkid goeth but beware the vile.
Okay, so you can talk to her, get the small Lothric banner. You'll need that to go to the next area in the game after you kill the boss of this area. Now this video will be a little longer, but that's only because we're going to be fighting the boss. So after you killed Swordmaster, if you want, you can Ember. Makes you stronger. You can then summon Swordmaster, or any of your friends too. You can then summon Swordmaster, and he will help you. And then to summon the boss of this area, you want to run down to the end of the room, and then there will be a cinematic where you try to open up the doors. So for this boss, you want to try to get under him as much as possible. But he does charge around, which makes it kind of hard to do that. So if you just run up real close to him, and as he's about to swing, you go behind him, start hammering down those attacks. It's very effective. Swordmaster does help by adding an extra body, so he can take some of the hits. Now, for stage 2, he just gets more pissed off. He'll run around a lot more. And he does breathe ice, which will frostbite you. Which just does extra damage. So you want to try to avoid that when he does that. But the same tactics still apply. You still want to go underneath him as much as possible. Just go behind him, get in a bunch of hits. Swordmaster just died. But so did Bork. And with that, you get his boss soul. You come over here, light the bonfire, the doors will open, and then you'll progress to the next area. That's all the time we have for this episode. Leave a like if this was helpful at all, or if you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next video.